Hey everybody! Our book for today is called Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. Written by one of our favorite authors in the library, Andrea Beaty, and illustrated by David Roberts. The cover might look a little bit familiar to everyone because we've read a lot of her, well, all of her books in the library. One of our favorite books is Ada Twist, Scientist, and we also read Ida Peck, Architect. This is her brand new book that just came out, and I wanted to share it with you guys today. Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. Sofia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. She and Abuelo is her grandfather. They went out every week to help the elderly friends around Blue River Creek who couldn't get out, about, and on their own, and with no place to gather, they were stuck home alone. Boy, does that sound familiar right now. So she's been used to doing things for other people quite a bit ever since she was young. So she and her grandfather, her abuelo, go out and they help bring groceries to older folks that can't get out of their homes. That's very nice. Raking leaves, taking pets for walks, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk, Sofia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and her friends and even her whole neighborhood. As she was a dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sofia likes better. Ooh, I love that. I have to remember that. These are fun pages. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophie to class. They walked home again along Blue Ridge Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and girl, except for that Tuesday when Pup saw a squirrel. Uh-oh, there she goes. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town, over and under, beneath, and all around. Sophie scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing Pup. Boy, I've got a dog like that. So now they're out chasing their Pup. Oh, boy. Up the squirrel ran to the top of the hill made of leftover junk for the local landfill. They reached the tip top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Now, this is a giant hill, but it's made out of junk and trash. It's a landfill. So there's Abuelo. He's running to catch Pup. And now this big trash mound has broken and fallen. And down they all tumbled, and with a thud on the moldy old pumpkins surrounded by mud. So their Abuelo fell down that trash mound and hit an old pumpkin. Ouch! Cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. What a dangerous mess, he said, grasping her hand. Poor Abuelo. The next day, Sophie walked to school solo. That means she was by herself. But it wasn't the same without her Abuelo. This is just not right, declared young Sofia, who glared at Mount Trashmore, and she got an idea. Now, right here, Sophie is pretty mad. I mean, her Abuelo is hurt. But here is where Sofia has a choice. She can either choose to stay mad, or she can choose to change the thing that is making her upset. So let's see what she does. Now, it's one thing we all have is to make choices. So let's see what Sophie chooses to do. The very next morning at past dawn, she planted a sign in front of the lawn. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. The sign said, "Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park." So there you go. Instead of her being mad that the trash mound was there and her abuelo was hurt, she decided that she was going to do something about it. And she was going to try to get rid of the Trashmore, and try and build a new park. Very good, Sophia. Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play, meeting spots, gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for cheese. She drew every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by a quarter till dark. So she got everybody's ideas, all of her neighbors, and she was going to put together an idea for a community park, a space where all of her neighbors can gather and enjoy. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam, she woke up with a thought that smacked her in her head. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sophia was going to build it alone. But how could one girl do so much all on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache as night thunder growled and she laid wide awake. Then dawn brought on a storm and the gloomy sky wept, and the heartsick Sophia finally slept. Now she's wondering, I can't do this all by myself. And now she's worried. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophia got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sophia. "For courage," he whispered. "Te amo, mi vida." Sophia's knees wobbled. She felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle, and quite nearly she cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sofia Valdez went to face City Hall. And she is all on her own, going to face something pretty big. And there she is. City Hall, this giant building. There's Sophia by herself, walking up the steps, doing something pretty big. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do, then to the office of monkeys, the department of cheese, the division of fountains and meetings and bees, then down to the basement, so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped, and that's where the clerk said what no one else did: "You can't build a new park. You're only a kid." Well, those words smacked Sophia down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could even start. "Well, I think," Sophia said, "I think that law's wrong." But her second-grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said, "Clearly, it just cannot be done. Do you have any questions?" And Sophia said, "One, if you're me and if I was you and it was your grandpa, what would you do?" "Well," said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all, and she thought, and she thought, and she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. See, it makes a difference when it's someone that you care about. And that's what Sofia was telling her. I'm helping my grandpa like you would help yours. Now, the entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak. But her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as a dozen emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer and Sophia leaned back. Then her arm brushed the edge of the old cookie sack. And that was the moment when Sophia knew being brave meant doing things you must do, though your heart cracks with fear and though you're just in grade 2. So even though Sophia was terrified, here she was, this little second grader. She had to stand up in front of all these people and tell them what her idea was and why it was a better idea. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor straight in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sophia started talking. She spelled out her plan, and that's what all that mattered and how it began. And once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots and monkeys and places to play and other ideas for things that they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And look at Sophie go, yay. All right, cried the mayor. Go start a petition. If the town wants a new park, we'll form a commission. And so young Sophia got right to work with some of the help from her family and pup and even the clerk. So they had to get a petition. A petition is a document, and they had that you get approval from all the people in the community that they like the idea too, because it can't just be one person's idea. She has to get approval from everyone in the community before they even decide to vote on it. So that's what they're out doing, to rally up, to get people to sign the petition so that they can even vote on it. And then there were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, then bulldozers and cranes and a blue big digger. They all built that park, and that's how it got done. And the hard work of, by, and for everyone. But it began with the dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and then led the way to help the Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold this truth to be self-evident, that Sofia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sofia, that real-life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. So it did start with one idea, Sofia's idea, but she had to get the help from the people in her community. And with all of their help together, they got it done and created the new park for everyone in the community to enjoy. The end. So it just takes one idea. And it was that choice that Sofia made. Instead of just getting angry and staying angry, she had an idea and she put her idea into action. And with the help of her community, she got built a place where they could all enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed Andrea Beaty's new book, Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. And let's see what we can do to make changes in our own community. Thanks. See you guys later. Bye.